Hi and welcome to Tabletop Gaming, the home of cool things like this. Look, this is a monthly magazine dedicated to all things board games, card games, war games and the cool stuff that we love on tabletop. And look, how cute is he? Anyway, today we are taking a first look at Unlucky Adventurers, which comes in this super cute little box, making it pretty much pocket-sized. I could fit this in a handbag, this could come with me. This game of Unlucky Adventurers is from Unlucky Archer, and you should keep your eyes peeled for this. Now, we will say, if you'll notice, we've got a review copy, so there can always sometimes be changes when we get sort of prototypes or review copies through, so just be aware of it when it heads to retail. But Charlie, what is it? You've not told us what the game is. This is sort of a one-deck adventure that you're going to take yourself on, and one of my favourite things about it is that I read the instructions once and I knew how to play it. Brilliant! Now the other thing about this is it is deliberately a family game, so you can play it with the fam without having to worry too much, but it's inspired by things like the role-playing games that we know and love, so there's a touch of humour in there that I quite enjoyed. All you're trying to do is be the last adventurer standing, and you either do that in teams or against each other, so the world is your oyster. But without further ado, let's take a look inside. Now, numbers-wise, it is 15 minutes to an hour, depending on how long you take. I was generally on the earlier side of that. It is for 2 to 6 players, and you're looking at about 8+ to play. Now, we have some cute teeny tiny little dice. You'll know if you've seen videos on this channel that I adore dice, and I like that they're green. Why be boring when you can be green? I love it. And then we have our instructions to start off. So this is your rulebook. Like, this is it. Absolutely marvellous. I love when the rules are short like this, because the fun isn't reading the rules, right? The fun is actually getting started and playing, and this gives you everything you need to know and what you've got to be able to do. So, a nice little spiel on what you're doing. If you're lucky, you'll become the reasonably lucky adventurer if you manage to succeed. And then just more info about what happens, things like your encounters, your attacks, the way that you play, what the different types of cards are. Most of them are quite self-explanatory, but it is quite nice to know that if you need to double check, everything's in there. Now, of those 126 cards, there are 3 different types. So we have, first and foremost, our character deck, which unsurprisingly is going to give us the character that we play through with. Now, because certain characters have certain tropes, we then get bonuses depending on what those are. So for example, the sorcerer has the ability to add 1 to the beast value points of any quest card once per game. The buccaneer can use a rest action card to draw 2 cards from the quest deck at the same time, once per game. So they're all sort of like one-time power-ups that you can use as you're playing, just to make it a little bit easier. It's like a little extra bonus effect. Now you'll have those from the beginning, so you'll know what it is that you can do. You just need to try and time the best time to use that. Now, the other thing that you're going to have, will go up in size, is your beast deck. Now, these are frankly adorable, and there are some quite cute little bits and bobs in there. So we've got a fire goblin, for example, we've got a litter critter, and just all sorts of quirky random things that would come up. So there's a terrapine, which is half Tarask, half terrapin, half forest. I love it. We've got the little lookout. It's only got 1 eye, and things like a ravenous orb. Now these will come out of the deck as you play, in terms of as you're going through, you may then encounter a beast that you have to fight, and you do so with these on here. So you'll need to surrender your cards in order to fight them. Now, once you run out of cards, you're out of the game, so you really need to try and keep as many as you can, surrender those tactically so you keep the ones that you need or may want later on, whilst also defeating and winning and being able to get past it without being taken out in the first place. Now, that brings us to the bulk of the deck, which is the quest deck. So this has got basically a little bit of everything, from items to misadventures to blunders to all sorts of bits and bobs. There's some quite cute ones in there. There's some ones that you can see can really change the game. I quite like just their pretty lucky potion, which means when you roll the dice, you can either do well out of it or do badly out of it. So I think it's lose a card or gain a card. So the next player must draw 2 cards, or the next player must discard 2 cards. Obviously you want them to do the latter because you want them to run out of cards quickly enough. We've got the unreliable transformation spell, which basically means that you can roll to steal cards, or if you do badly, you discard some of your cards, which again, you don't want to do. But it's got some quite cute flavour text at the bottom, which is just, Taylor used to dream of becoming a great wizard. Now they dreamt of playing fetch and avoiding fleas. But oh no, it's not all fun and games as we're drawing cards out of this. There is the aforementioned Beast Encounter, which will tell you to take a card off the top of the beast deck so that you can then go on to fight them. So you're never too sure what's going to come out of the deck, but you need to be prepared for whatever may happen. I'll show you just a couple more that I think change the game a little bit. So I like, this is our shield, which lets you block an action from another player. So if another player has drawn a card that says no, you have to discard, this player has to discard 2 cards or something like that. You can say no. It reminds me a little bit of the Nope card in Exploding Kittens, which I think is why I like it so much, because there's something satisfying about being like, no, it's not happening. Other ones I want to show you are the Blunder card. So I've mentioned that word a couple of times, but this is where it comes in. So you accidentally pick a fight with a bewitched tavern owner and are thrown out onto the street. Discard any 3 cards from your hand. Then just some fun ones. So the Thief allows you to steal some cards. Resurrection allows you to use it if this is the last card in your hand, and then you can draw 7 more. But I really like the flavour text on this one, which is just get a life. And then although I could keep going on and on with cards that I like in here, Annoy the Living is another one, which it says is just a collection of bad jokes. But also as a spell, so when you roll, you might gain some, you might lose some. And in all honesty, although this is a first look and not a review, there's quite a lot to like about this. It's got a real sort of cutesy sense of humour that feeds into the things that we know and love about things like D&D. It doesn't take itself too seriously, plus it's incredibly easy to pick up. So anyone, you could sit down and say, right, we're going to learn how to play this. All we're going to do is draw a card, try and keep as many cards in your deck, take a couple of risks and see if you win. And that's basically it. Which means that its tiny size suits its purpose, because it means I can pop it in my bag and take it with me on the off chance that we might get to play a game, but it still be one that's quite invocative. It's one that still has you interacting a lot with other people. It's one that you can teach in moments. Now this will shortly be coming to Kickstarter, where you can head over and pick up your own copy. If we've got a link for that, I will pop that in the description so you can head straight there and find out if you can become the reasonably lucky adventurer that survives at the end. So there you have it, unlucky adventurers. Pop in the comments if this is one that has interested you. If you're going to pledge for it, I'd love to hear from you. And as well, don't forget to head over to our own website to see all sorts of cool tabletop related things, not just that magazine, although you can find that there, but news, reviews, features and more. So I will leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.